And we're on the bridge, 99 FM on Jamaican radio, beaming to our own people and also to Jamaican people all over the world. That's what the bridge does. And the program is The Public Eye. I'm Ronald Thwaites, and along with me is the Honourable Pernell Charles Sr. We're going to be with you for 2 hours, engaging in conversation between ourselves and with others about the state of things in Jamaica. There's turmoil all around in the world, and there are many things in our land too that aren't admirable, maybe not going right, but we're still blessed. And there are many good things that are happening too. We want to tell you about it. We want to hear from you too. We're grateful for the WhatsApp messages and the emails that we get from time to time. The WhatsApp number is 876-551-5782, and the studio line is 876-676-4996. And you can download the mobile app from the Android Play Store and the Apple Store. It's The Bridge, 99 FM, a new frontier in radio, looking out for the people who have left us for foreign shores, but whose souls and whose heartstrings remain on the rock. Thanks so much for being with us. We hope that the program will entertain you and will inform you. In about 20 minutes' time, Ralston Hyman, the well-regarded economist and financial commentator, the conceptualizer, producer, and presenter of Real Business on Power 106, joins us. We have him as our guest every month or so to look at financial matters. And of course, this week was essential, given the opening of the budget debate, the estimates of expenditure last week, and the revenue forecasts yesterday by the Minister of Finance, the Honourable Dr. Nigel Clark. So he's our guest today. If you want a fix on how Jamaica's economy and finances are going, check us for that interview in just a few minutes' time. And then after 1 o'clock, Dr. Leakim Samaj, well-known author, ideator, and public commentator, joins us. He's written a new book. It's about how persons in the senior citizen category, people like me and my co-host, Honourable Pernell, can stay alert, stay happy, stay healthy. And we'll tell you how that book can be made available. It's particularly for people like ourselves. We know we have a lot of silver-haired people in the diaspora listening to us. So thanks for being with us on the program. This is The Public Eye. Mr. Charles, what an eventful week, sir. What with Haiti? What with the budget? What with all of the concerns that we have, traditional concerns in Jamaica? I'm concerned about this very, very loose expression called a gang.
Before we get to that, I don't want to say I'm a local prophet, but I am one of the politicians, and I have to admit, I've been in politics some nearly 50 or 51 years.
Wow.
I have seen all sort of things on the ground. Some look like me, some I could never associate with, some I had to associate with, some I love, and some promoted me and helped me to become what I am. I am worried that this organization, and I call it organization because it attracts a certain set of people, mostly young adult men.
Yes.
And they carry, some of them with their bright, semi-masculine, not sex now, but muscle and mind women that goes into it and carry the gun, some in their brassiere, some in other part that they know the police won't try to find. I know personally about that, so don't open your eye on me. I know personally about that, right? I've seen big boss women, right? I passed through the police, and the police wouldn't touch that, but there was also a gun there.
Wow.
Anyhow, what we're talking about is how did we get to a position where gang becomes an attraction? Though I don't support you and the government and the police with your definition of gang. To me, a gang is a criminal organization, and it should be so documented in the Constitution, the Parliament. If you choose to leave where you are and join a criminal organization, it becomes, give me a legal word.
It becomes a criminal offense?
A criminal offense.
But isn't that part of the law?
Yeah, no, but you, and I say you because we're associated.
Sure.
You are the other side would say, a man have a right to join an organization.
Freedom of
Labour
association.
Party, join PNP.
No, but for criminal intent, I don't have that right.
Okay, but when the police said to you, and I'm glad you made the point, because I wanted to say this to the police, and I hope somebody will tell the commissioner that I say so. When he reports that there are 450 gangs in Jamaica, how did he know that?
I wonder.
Okay, let us say he's correct. If he knows Gang 1, he must know the leader of Gang 1, and the deputy leader of Gang 1, and the secretary of Gang 1.
And?
Why, if you and I, not you so much as I, say it's a criminal organization, and if you join a criminal organization, you commit a crime.
Uh-huh.
Why you can't say that?
You can. But
No.
You can say that. The problem is that the police don't know what they're talking about in most cases.
No, but hold on.
Then they give numbers. The numbers are repeated by people like Dr. Horace Chang. Yes. And one of the questions I have to ask is, after all of these years of this kind of policing and effort and so on, and fear and the consequences, yes, are there less gangs or more gangs? And I was told, I remember when I was a political representative, about certain gangs in my constituency, yes? And when I inquired what was the basis of these names and these persons, there was no basis. It's somebody said something, and that was it. I agree with you that if a person is on credible evidence, the kind of evidence that can stand up in a court, yes, known to be a member of an organization whose purpose is to wreak criminality, that person, without more, has committed a criminal offense and needs to be brought before the court under existing law and dealt with.
But there are some people who are saying, Ronnie, stop that foolishness.
No.
You know why?
Why?
Because they're saying a man have a right to join an organization.
No, but that's nonsense.
We should say, if you choose to what we define
Sure.
as a criminal gang,
Yeah.
a gang that has men who are attacking others,
Clearly.
robbing and
Clearly.
So therefore, when the commissioner says we have 400 gangs in Jamaica, why aren't you summoning? If you know the gang, you must know the leader.
So I'm asking,
Why aren't you summoning them?
because he really doesn't know. He really doesn't know.
No, Rani, I would not accept
So what
that.
is it
I
then?
would not.
But if they know and are not dealing with it in the way that you and I agree,
No, but
then that is irresponsible. They shouldn't have the work.
Try to help me. Take a week for me.
Mm-hmm.
Call the commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
Pernell Child said that in one of your presentations,
Mm-hmm.
or one of your associate presentations, you say we have up to 450 gangs.
By the way, that is a figure you have heard?
Eh?
That is a figure that you have heard? 450?
Yeah, 400 and something. I think it's higher now.
God in heaven. So I need to ask you the question. I will do what you ask.
Yes.
But I need to ask you and our listeners the question, why do we have so many gangs?
Because...
Where they come from?
Hold on, I will tell you why we have so many gangs. Because a man is told that if he gets together with a few of them, right, and put themselves in a like position and give themselves a name, right, they can survive without working. They can survive without living at their parents' house. They can get their own money. They can get their own motorbike. They can get their own car by holding up me and you.
Okay, so what is in the heart of those people? What is behind it all? Why do young Jamaican men end up falling for that? Because while they may get a money, and while they may get even a big money, and they get ratings in the way that you just outlined.
Yeah.
Yes?
Well, don't forget what you say, because I am easy to forget.
Yeah.
One gang in Trelawney asked a gang member, what was the announcement about how much gang they have in Westmoreland? They said, boss, them have 10 gang in Westmoreland. How much man dead? Them gone 13. How much we gone? 10. Him say, well, them can't go ahead away.
Yeah. So why?
You understand?
I understand very
so
well.
I must go out and kill 4 tonight.
So why are our people like that? Is it because we are the children of Ham? Is so people stay in Jamaica? I mean, I'm thinking of our audience overseas. When they hear this, they say, Lord God, what is this? A curse of some devil on us? Why?
But
Why?
I will go look further. That I lived in New York for a while you were in New York.
Yeah.
We both of us were in New York together, going to school.
That's right.
And there were gangs there, whatever name they want to call it.
Right.
Right? But they could not be walking around like in Spanish Town, a man is a member of a gang, him all wear upon his shirt.
Yeah. Oh.
Right? And we don't have no laws in Jamaica to say, if you say you are a gang.
We have the laws, sir.
I don't believe that.
We have the laws.
So how the police is telling me them have so many gangs? They must know the president. They must know the deputy president.
I'm telling
they
you.
must know the secretary.
But I've given you the answer. The problem is within the security forces. I'm not criticizing all of them, but I am saying to you that their intelligence gathering and their capacity to what they are saying about people is very, very weak. How else could you explain that after all of the years where the party in power, which you subscribe to, has taken us deeper and deeper towards legislation that allows for detention of people before charge, change up the bail law, all of these things, despite all of the changes in the length of sentences, where for the most serious you can go to jail for 50 years. Yes, before parole, all them kind of thing. Why is it that we still have 400 gangs, Mr. Charles?
We have it because you have to have a reason to carry them before the judge. You have to have a reason.
No.
Not him saying he's a member of the gang.
Okay, so what now?
Him have to create a crime.
You sound no. No, you don't. No, you don't.
How do you
there are
go to
people
Spanish Town and take a gangster?
There are people because you gather evidence and that he's a gang member and that he's about to or likely to commit a criminal offense, and you arrest him. That happens regularly.
But
what you seem to be heading for, is Mr. Bukele in El Salvador. Where in fact, what he does is anybody who look like him might have got that way. You lock him up without trial.
I don't want to go that far. Where I want to go.
Oh, some people want to, big, powerful people.
Some people want to go.
Elected office.
Some people don't want to go based on your color, or the clothes, or where you're born, or where you live,
or where your politics is. What your politics is.
Yes,
you should know.
Oh, I'm well aware of that. You frightened me, man, because when we were there in detention, a guy came up to me and said, Charles, you're a bad man. Say, I'm a bad man? Say, what time he come for to wipe you out and see with a gun in your hand and point after me?
Look at that.
I said, question my mother.
Yeah.
Because I've never carried a gun.
Yeah.
And him say him come to wipe me out with him gun.
Yes.
But him see me have a shot. You see me have a gun of fire.
You see how lion suspicion could prevail. So I'm asking.
No, but hold on, don't cause that so quickly. It could be that I was being protected by an angel.
Oh, well, that's good. Thank God for that. But I doubt if the angel would have a gun.
Let's get back to what we're talking about.
I doubt if the angel would have a gun.
I am concerned, Ronnie. I am concerned.
What's the answer to it? While we pause it, what's the answer to it? Because it is clear.
The answer
it's clear that the political authorities, don't have an answer.
they're clear that the answer is there and they don't want to use it.
Which one? Like what?
When the police tells you that in central Kingston you have 15 gangs fighting one another, robbing and raping, it's either that the police is lying, don't have no sense, don't know what they're doing, or they're trying to trick us. But if the police is right,
or what?
If the police is right, why are they not brought into the station and questioned?
But absolutely.
Are you a member of this gang? Why?
Absolutely.
What the black thing on your shirt
So
mean?
why is this not happening? Why is it that after all of these years, of effort, of passing stricter and stricter laws, we have more gangs rather than less gangs? Why don't we go to the foundation of this thing, Mr. Charles?
You heard that you just say?
Yeah.
That we have more gangs.
So we are told the figure of 450 for me is frightening. I would have thought the last thing I heard was 200 and something, but I don't think anybody knows. What I'm concerned of is that instead of dealing with this with what we see, we look underneath and see what you know, that a lot of the youth in this country are heading straight for the gangs, and it's all we could do something about it, and we don't do something about it. I'm just coming from a function with an excellent put on by an element of the Ministry of Education this morning. I commend them, and they're acknowledging, that a large number of youth don't come to school because for one reason or another, the parents not interested, they don't have atmosphere, they don't have lunch money. They don't come to school because them say not now go on in school. It's not exciting. Not
No. But you don't hit the one, you know.
Which one is?
Him don't go to school because he miss a B. I talk to them later.
Well,
and Mr. B going and tell them how to make money.
Okay.
Rather than
I imagine
this foolish thing called school.
Well,
and have come out, go.
And there you are. So in those circumstances, why we don't deal with that? Why we don't deal with the fundamental causes of young people going into gangs and becoming, and I know this is your fear, and I share part of it, becoming part of such a large disordered society that Jamaica begins to look a little like Haiti.
A little?
That's my word.
Well, you better expand the littleness to big.
Hello, if we were in Haiti, you and I couldn't be doing what we're doing now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you know why?
So I am
Not
saying...
the government, you know.
The government have a lot to do with it. Government has a lot to do with it, or the absence of government.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the point is this, that Haiti is long time, you know, because I remember the only time that Haiti was quiet, you know, was when they had a dictator. They say, who kill, chop, kill, this, that. Send for that, cut off that. You remember?
I remember Duvalier.
Duvalier?
Papa Doc.
Yeah.
So
and Young Doc.
That can't be the answer.
You know, but
so why don't we answer the question? When I look, we're going to talk with Ralston Hyman in the budget a little. When I look at the budget for education this year, I see some increases, and I'm grateful for them. But I do not see the large-scale approach to quelling the dribble out of school. It's more than a dribble.
Is it a budget problem?
Of course it is.
No, but hold on.
Of course it is.
But so why what the budget cover cannot help?
It does
and
help.
Not helping.
It does help, but it doesn't go far enough. That's my problem. My problem is not that Jamaica.
So there's something other than money
of course
that is needed.
Absolutely, sir.
And if we were able to put
and we know what it is. First of all, children need a loving, strict parents in order to bring them up properly. You had that. I had that.
Yeah, and we were fortunate that beside us was a child who was the child of a child.
Yeah.
Are you following me?
I am.
The mother was a little girl.
Yeah.
No have no father.
Yeah.
So I'm sending it to school.
Okay, I was looking up some statistics from the Survey of Living Conditions in Jamaica yesterday.
Yeah.
And nearly 40% of Jamaican children, live in a situation where their father is not present.
All right,
not in the home.
So stop right there.
Mm-hmm. You don't think that has something to do with the gang?
Take a look in your own mind and take a look in mine. If I didn't have James Charles and Marita Charles, where the hell you think I would be an ambitious boy of country who not staying there?
Absolutely.
I come a town and I come off from Tivoli, or I come off of Central Kingston, I come off in a market.
Yes, sir.
tell me a man say, why where you come from?
Yeah.
No, where you come. Boy, come talk with me.
Yeah.
And then come and say, you look hungry. Eat some food.
Yeah.
And I will show you how to get some food, you know.
Yes, sir.
And when you go, then I tell you, and when you come, you have to give you the thing.
Yes, sir.
You hold the thing. If you make it come out, your life gone.
Exactly. So my concern is, yes, while we appoint a new commissioner of police and we probably promote somebody else to be this other high person in national security, why aren't we dealing with that? Why aren't we dealing with the fact that this morning I heard an education officer acknowledge that it's a lack of food, that perhaps 10% of a particular cohort in a school don't come. Why not? We don't need more than 2% to go into the gangs to create more of the problem that we have, you know.
Yeah, but
Why don't we deal with proper social work and guidance counsel in our schools so that we don't have this fallout? Why do we keep promoting children from one grade to the next till they quote unquote graduate when they can't read?
a man just called me and asked me to ask you, why are you asking me questions and then giving some answers?
Well, I am. I'm
Give us some answers.
I'm saying stop that right away. There should be no promotion unless you have fulfilled the requirements of the previous grade. I have begged.
And when the union hear that, what happened?
Which union?
The teachers union.
They must.
And
Look
the
here.
teachers join Labour Party rather than PNP.
That's tough. You know, the politics is supposed to help. Politics is supposed to lift, not to cut down. Yeah.
It's supposed to, but what is it doing? Is it helping?
Yeah, but then you see, then
Look
you
what
and- you
happened
and I
in your
can't-
old constituency yesterday.
No, sure, that was predictable. It was predictable because the leaders of both political parties told their supporters to mass and to offer support because of either one, because they are tied at the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation, our listeners need to know, and because the Jamaica Labour Party has suffered a real embarrassment by losing the mayoralty of the capital, and because the PNP feels that this is a big surge towards obvious change in people's thinking about politics and who they support. So they invited them to come out. People who have no other basis who fed those people yesterday? Who give them food?
Who transport them?
Who transport them? So if you deliberately
And who buy the green and the white and the red shirt?
If you
identifying
deliberately set that up, yes. And
what do you expect?
And people are, what do you expect?
Well, I will tell you
what you're doing is feeding disorder.
They expect power.
Power? To do what? Power.
Political power. Support for political power.
Listen to me. That's true. But you and I know, you've been a local government representative and I have observed it. Yes? The parish councils have little or no power. They have a small amount of patronage, which Desmond McKenzie puts their way. They can hold up politics, projects and so on, and there's a skein of corruption in how they and revenue that comes to individuals for that.
Well, you say a scale of corruption. Let me ask you a question. You are a councillor. You allow me to vote for you.
Yeah.
You told me what you will get, what I will get when I vote for you. And you go in there and you're not getting anything. Yeah. How are you going to take care of me?
Exactly.
How do you plan to take care of me?
Well,
you have to thief.
You and I don't think that's always the problem.
How do you get money to take care of those who you tell that you're going to give them food, clothes, house, land, and car, and bus, and truck?
I'm asking one of the most highly regarded and venerable politicians in Jamaica today. Yes, why does the system have to take people in that direction? It does not have to.
Ronnie, I agree with you. It does not have to, but it has been doing it. That those who born last night, right? They're born with it. They don't have to learn it. It's come in their mind.
Well, I'm going to tell you. There's no doubt where I would like which tendency I think is better able to offer good government. But I'm going to tell you, I reject that system. Having been a part of it, I reject it. And I'm not holier than you or anybody else. Yes, I'm saying that we can do it a better way. And I'm saying the inherent difference between Haiti and Jamaica is that we are a set of people who understand ourselves and have traditions, have institutions, like the Electoral Commission, if you wish, and many others I could say, churches, even the political parties, that would take us in a different direction, either from Haiti or from Bukele in El Salvador, or in some of the embarrassing folly that is taking place in the United States. We know how to do better. We are bigger people.
But you're such a nice guy.
Oh?
That's why I'm sitting beside you. Because you're so optimistic. You're such a nice person. You know how to put it, that we can do it. What the hell? Why haven't we
Because
tried to even
right?
do it better? I told you months ago that we are in the same lane,
Yeah.
heading towards the same port that Haiti is heading.
Talk it soft, because can you imagine if any people hear us from abroad, if the tourists hear us, a lot of them now will come. Already American government look in the face and say Jamaica not safe. That worries me,
But America has said
what's
that.
his name? Ed Bartlett really trying,
That I want to put you on a spot right now.
All right.
I want to say something that I have been saying, and it's difficult for you to say, so I'm giving you the answer now. You see these guys out there, night and day, call themselves police.
Mm-hmm.
When we are in our bed,
Mm-hmm.
they are driving around to make sure that we are safe.
Yes.
Nobody jumping our fence,
Mm-hmm.
burning our house.
Mm-hmm.
We need to give them a little more respect, Ronnie,
No,
in your
respect.
own family, hold on a little.
I tell you
In
about
your
the respect.
own family,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to say one or two bad.
Mm-hmm.
In my own family, we don't have
No,
a
no.
thought.
I
But
insist.
for we to write off the police.
No, I don't write them off. I want them to be better than they are, and I want them.
No,
to
you see what you said a while ago? You want them to be better than they are.
Sure.
And I am saying that you have some of the top flight, good men and women in the police force that you couldn't want anything better. So find a way now how we're going to say,
Look here, every one of them, good and bad, have the power of arrest. Every one of them, and therefore,
Yeah, but
therefore,
you
no,
have-
no, you. I'm not going to settle for any mediocrity. I'm going to insist that every one of them is
so that is your number one point in a police,
no.
the power of arrest.
Absolutely. Every time a police stops me, I get out of my car, yes, and I put up my hands. You know why? Because they have a weapon that is the sole purpose of which is to kill or terrorize me.
Yeah, but that's not police work.
What do you mean?
Hold on. The police stops you because he has an information or he sees something that he needs to check.
Yeah.
The right policeman may
And they
ask
asked
you to
me-
come out.
They asked me, why have you come out of the car? And I say, I've come out because I respect you. You are an officer of the law. I am an
So
officer
he didn't
of
ask you to come
the
out.
court. No.
No,
I'm an officer of the court, and I hold you in respect. But I tell you, I'm afraid of you because you have in your hands, yes, an instrument to kill.
Yeah, but you don't find out that he has in his hands something to protect life.
Oh.
Because if he didn't have that,
No.
and the gang man come up to you and him,
No.
they kill both of you.
Beg your pardon, sir. I understand that circumstances may arise where you have a firearm in self-defense
Yes.
is necessary. I accept that. Yes, I'm not.
So are you opposing to the police?
But no. I am saying that it is, you any person who holds a firearm has to be a highly trained and highly responsible person. Because they hold, listen,
Yes.
they hold in their hands the power of life and death.
How many weeks do you think one of those policemen spent under the highest supervision
Probably not more than 6 weeks.
out there to
Probably not more than
how
6
to
weeks.
handle and to prevent
I-
a firearm from going off
I hope
without
so, sir.
reasons
I hope so.
necessary?
I hope so. If so, then let us see the result and let us do it more. I have seen police murder. I have seen them terrorize in central Kingston and elsewhere, and therefore I am very cautious. Let's take a break. This is the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. Thanks for being with Colonel Charles and myself on the Bridge 99 FM on the Public Eye. Welcome, Ralston, Hyman.
Good afternoon, Ronnie. Good afternoon, Sir P. How are you doing?
I was just simply saying in my mind that anyhow you listen to Rennie and myself this morning, you're not coming on to talk to us.
No, we have to talk. We have to talk to you about the budget.
Did you listen to us?
Yeah, man. No, never
doing
heard it.
different
No,
things.
no.
Yes.
Okay.
Ralston Hyman, the estimates of expenditure of some $1.3 trillion were tabled in the House of Representatives several days ago. And yesterday evening, the Honorable Nigel Clark outlined the revenue measures and the policy directions of the government. We rely on you to give us some pointers, some thoughts and critique of it. Is this a good news budget, as the headline of the Observer this morning says? Is that a fair description?
Yeah, well, it's a good news budget. He never outlined the revenue measures. He concluded after 4 hours and 15 minutes without outlining the revenue measures. Right. So what we're seeing is that the budget is projected at $1.34 trillion. That's 41% of GDP. GDP is projected at $3.28 trillion. And he plans to finance it by 300.86 billion in GCT, 321.7 billion in income and corporate taxes, $34 billion in travel taxes, 53 billion in education taxes, 99 billion in SCT, and he's planning to borrow 191.44 billion. That's 51 billion more than last year. 40 billion of that will come from the IMF, 53 billion from the World Bank, 8.1 billion from bilateral sources, 66 billion in domestic bonds, and 22 billion in treasury bills. He's projected grants of 4.692 billion, and he's drawing 887 billion from the Capital Development Fund. So that's it. Now, in terms of what he's spending 491.2 billion, or 40% of the budget, to service the debt, 442 billion on climbing for salaries, 327.8 billion for programs, including a 30% increase in the past program, and only 80 billion on capital.
How, is that the best split, the best slicing of the cake, as you would see it?
No, not that the best way to generate growth and efficiency in the economy.
Why not? Just as you have outlined it, over 800 billion of a 1.3 trillion, more than 50% is in salaries or in reduction of debt.
Yes, salaries and debt service charges.
Okay.
The capital budget is only 6% of the budget, or only 2.4% of GDP.
Both the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance in recent days have been arguing about the need for increased productivity, for stimulating the economy. Is this a growth economy?
No, you can't. You can't stimulate productivity by spending 80 billion on capital and over 800, almost 900 billion on salaries and debt service payments. The capital budget, which is a budget that multiplies the economy, is only 2.4% of GDP and 6% of the budget. So we're spending 6.4 more times on debt servicing than we are spending on capital. And we are spending almost the same thing in relation to wages. Right. So what we're seeing is that although we're talking about productivity and efficiency, we're doing very little to do that. The capital budget of the Ministry of Education is only 1.97 billion.
I noticed that, and that's pretty static. The argument is that there are measures, albeit not sufficient, but there are measures that are going to ease the pain of the majority of Jamaicans who have been ravaged by cost of living increases. Despite the fact that they have got increased wages, it barely makes a difference.
Okay.
Comment on that. Is that true?
Well, we don't see those measures because the only two measures that we saw was the age relief exemption for pensioners from 80 to 250. Yeah.
Can I ask you to clarify that, please? Sorry to burden you, but I don't think Purnell knows. What is a reverse tax credit? Well,
that's another thing. What he's saying is that what they do in some countries, pensioners who get somewhere in the region of $3 million, he'll give them back 20,000 at the end of the fiscal year.
Give them back in cash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
give them back, if you get $3 million, up to $3 million.
Yeah, but very few people get that.
Well, yes. But I don't think Mr. Charles and I are so fortunate.
No,
as retired ministers.
No, man, we weren't there when the good days. Ralston,
Yes,
let me tell you something, and I think I want to say it right here. I know a number of people worldwide is listening to you. And even your presentation, your interpretation of the budget has done a lot for me, who listened to all of it yesterday. Right? And I think you have done a good job for many of us in Jamaica who would like to at least understand what is out there. Now, give me one thing. What do you, and I know you, what do you think could have been done with the quantity of money that was available or is available that would bring, in your opinion, greater stimulation of growth?
All right. Here's my consistent position.
Yes.
The whole thing about 60% debt to GDP was created by the European Union under the Treaty of Maastricht in 1992. Those were for members who wanted to become, countries who wanted to become members of the European Union. Right. Now, there's no country in the world where the people of Jamaica want to live that has a debt to GDP ratio of 60%. The Republic of the United States of America, the largest economy in the world, their debt to GDP is 124.2%. China, the second largest economy in the world, their debt to GDP is 287.87%. Japan, the fourth largest economy in the world, 251.93%. Germany, which just overtook Japan as the third largest economy in the world, is 65%. India, the fifth largest economy in the world, is 87.5%. The United Kingdom, the great UK, is 100%. The European Union is 85%. Barbados is 115%. Jamaica is now down to 72%. And the minister says he wants to reach 55% by 27-28, which is faster than was originally projected for. What we're saying is that because of that, he's generating a primary surplus. That's the amount of money that is accumulated to service the debt of 5.6% of GDP this year. This works out at 183 billion. It is the pressure to reach 60% that is preventing the minister from spending more on the government's capital budget to boost education, to boost agriculture, to fix those roads and those bridges that will enhance productivity and give the people a better life. So we are saying it would have been better to slow the pace of debt reduction by running a primary surplus of somewhere in the region of 4 or 4.5% of GDP. That would free up between $32 billion and $50 billion so that you could expand the country's capital stock, build more schools, take schools off the shift system, which are the things that are necessary to drive economic activity. There's no need to be rushing to 55%, while at the same time destroying the country's infrastructure and human capital.
Well, the argument in rebutting that is that if you get the debt down to whether it's 55 or 60%, your creditworthiness and your cost of money becomes so much enhanced that you have actually helped yourself both to have less obligation and to be in and to be more creditworthy. Do you buy that?
Yeah, and here's a rebuttal of that rebuttal. If you are growing faster and getting stronger, you need to borrow less. Bring it down to a household. So are you going to say to Mr. Thwaites that although I'm making more money, I am going to wait until I pay off the mortgage before I can fix up the house, before I can send the children to school, before I can send them to the doctor, before I can expand the house, although we're having more children?
Point taken. The Minister of Finance has offered, since we brought it down to a granular level, some things that people need to understand better. I would like to understand your appreciation of what it means to have unemployment insurance.
Well, that's a very good thing. That is why we can give the numbers. Tomorrow at 8:30 p.m., the U.S. Labor Department will tell you how many people applied for unemployment insurance last week. So that's a very good thing. The problem is that we have been talking about these things. Carl Samuda first announced this in 2022. Then Colonel Charles Jr. announced it in 2023. And we are now in 2024. We are saying just do it.
Yeah, but then what does it mean? Because if I don't have a job, I'm not. Everybody who doesn't have a job can't benefit from unemployment insurance.
But if you have a job, and lose it, job and move in between job and lose it, then you'll be able to get some assistance within that period. Yeah.
But let us understand that we're talking about a contributory scheme.
Yeah, certainly.
Yes. It's a contributory scheme. Okay, that's fine.
It's really not a contributory scheme.
Oh.
It's an assistance to those who have worked.
Yes. And paid in.
Paid in.
Yes,
and
for this period, hoping that they survive.
Yeah. And that's very good.
I must tell you, I stole that from the American system.
Really?
Right.
No, let's have that. I was hoping that we would also have some progress on another thing that's been promised repeatedly, which is a national health insurance scheme.
Right.
Yes.
Precisely. We never heard anything about that.
That has been promised so many times.
Hold on. But you must remember, don't want you set up yourself, because the Prime Minister don't speak yet.
Okay.
You have to leave something.
Okay.
You have to leave something for him.
Okay. So let's encourage the Prime Minister to announce that.
We're just saying that do the good things. Don't just talk about them for 3 years. Just do it. Yeah, just do it.
You have to leave some good things.
The reason I tell you, both of you listened to the Minister's presentation. I did not. Because you know why? Because despite the fact that I've obviously have been and still have a intense interest in political life, budget speeches I have always left me with a severe sense of disappointment, because I recognize that most of what is said in them will never happen or won't happen within the time frame. I have to tell you that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't listen. Because I think that most of what he said was either going on or is likely to go on.
No, well, this is it. I mean,
you would have been encouraged.
Yeah. Well, I've read
a little better than the rest that has gone on before us.
I would like to hope so, but
the unemployment scheme, we've been talking about it for 4 years now.
Exactly.
Al Samuda told us that it was going to cabinet in 2022.
Yeah.
Still hasn't reached cabinet yet.
Yeah.
But at least it has been announced.
No, I mean, there's some things our listeners just have to know. When I got to the Ministry of Education, spare me a half a minute, the Jamaica Teaching Council bill, which will regulate and give some discipline to the teaching profession, was already in train for the past 3-4 years. That was 2011. Okay? It is now 2024, and the bill can't reach Parliament.
Yep. You must remember that it's not politicians carry the bill to Parliament.
No, politicians have some other ones who are getting the 200%.
Politicians have to wait till you know who ready to give them to go to Parliament.
Sir.
Those who never lose, whoever win.
I'm going to take the position of the civil servants, who are saying to the Minister of Finance now, don't joke with me. Give me the money, any money I ask for, because you give yourself 200% with no productivity requirement.
Yeah, but I still disagree with you, because when you said that to 40,000 people, there are only 45 MPs.
It doesn't matter the numbers. It's a principle involved.
It's a principle, but the principle must carry the money. The money is the problem.
That's what people
not the formula.
Ralston, help me.
Come, Ralston. What he's saying, take the politics out of him.
No, you can't take the politics out. This is what the public service of this country is now saying. Ralston Hyman just set out what we know, that over 400 billion.
442 billion and climbing, because they say they want more, and they say they want more because
they say to the minister, they're going to get it.
Fix up on themselves, so our time forget fix up now.
So they're going to get it without one correlative effort at increasing the productivity for
and I said to you and Mr. Hyman, that what was done a few weeks ago was being pressured for the past 10, 15 years under your government.
No doubt.
And you have been crying for productivity.
No, but that doesn't.
And I think that this is going to bring some productivity.
How? Where? What is the requirement? Why? What is the stimulus?
Good point. And I'm saying, Sir P, the Prime Minister last week went to UTEC and said his problem was productivity. And the question we posed to him Why did you pay out the 200 billion between the fiscal years 2021, 22, 23 without getting any productivity? How you pay out the money first and then now you're asking for the productivity?
Who did he pay to?
Pay to the
The
public service.
public service.
The public service.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And here
and
this
public
now.
service.
Hold on.
Are the
public
teachers,
service.
are the
And
policemen,
you heard,
are the...
Exactly.
you heard this threat that they sent out 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
That
Of course.
if 8 days come and them don't get additional money, they
Precisely.
won't get none.
And so?
So you tell me now.
No, and so...
And we know-
You are
we know
the union leader.
No. I mean,
We know that the government is going to cave in and give them more and cut the capital budget. So we are building in more inefficiency and lack of productivity in the system.
But
it's
Mr. Wyman,
obvious.
tell me, how do you get productivity when you have a civil service like this, as a public service like this? How
Yes,
you
but you
going
already
to go
compensate
and tell them if they
Yeah.
don't work, they don't get paid?
No.
Yeah, but you already
How you gonna get
compensate
it?
them and give them the 200 billion without getting any productivity from them. Why did you do that? You pay $1 billion to Ernst and Young to tell you to do that.
And if you didn't give them, you lose another $1 billion for that work.
So there's no better than... It's
Yeah,
no,
right.
no better than day?
I don't know. I have to ask.
Lord.
You tell us. Listen, maybe I am nervous. Right?
But
But I will tell you something.
so we can't do better than that. We just
Really,
pay out
I would
other
have-
people's money.
I'll be a failure if I say we can't do better. I'll be a failure if I say I don't wish that we can do better.
Yeah,
And I'm not
I
fighting
don't think
to
we're
do
trying.
better.
I
But-
think we're conceding.
But I don't know.
And we have
What's your feeling on it?
Nigel Clark has no moral authority to tell the public servants that they can't get what they're claiming because he himself has benefited and has given the benefit to himself and others.
That's what the people
so
are
that
saying.
one item you say wipe
what the
out,
people are
why
saying.
they
That
didn't get
was
it 20 years ago,
that
they
was
have
a
not been
fun-
working.
Yeah, that's what a fundamental error, Sir P. And that's what the people are saying. You guys fixed up yourself, so it's now time to fix us up.
Ralston, Hyman, there's some good moves in the budget. The removal of the guarantors for tertiary students. The guarantors were ineffective, yes?
Yeah, man.
In fact, nobody was ever being, or very few were being called upon.
Held back several students who
Yeah,
would
man.
love to go
The
forward.
only problem,
Indeed.
yeah, man.
And
The
therefore
only
it's-
problem I have with that is that when it was proposed by somebody else, it was tagged as being reckless.
Yes. Well, of course,
No.
but yes, I remember that. But the situation now is that there ought to be a surge of people who will go forward, but there has to be some sanction. There has to be some rein upon the fact that you just take public money for your education and then you need not pay it back.
No, that cannot work.
And
I want to hear
that
you
can't
on.
work.
I want to hear your name on this. What you have just said has been under this government and other governments.
But you know, we speak,
No.
beyond politics.
Which has been a
also.
problem for
Of
both
course.
governments.
Sure.
Yeah, man.
How are we
Of
going
course.
to get rid of that now?
What you have to do is to ensure that you I had it very simply when I was a student
Africans?
50 years ago. No. I could not leave this country without getting a clearance. Because I had to get a clearance at that time that my income tax was up to date, that I had no outstanding child support, yes, and that my any debts to the public service were being.
So who removed
I think
that?
that's a good measure.
Yeah,
That has been removed, Mr. Hyman.
many years, 20, 30 years
Yes,
ago.
I think that should come back.
Yeah.
Now that we are going to do what we're doing, that should come back. It can't be just a free measure. Yes.
Hello, in the United States, yes, if you go to renew your driver's license, they can tell you you will not be able to renew it unless your child support is up to date.
Yeah, man.
Yes, or that you have outstanding obligations to this and that. We have to do this. It's not.
I agree.
The way that it has been phrased, unfortunately, it is as if it's some kind of free for all.
No, that cannot work.
Yes,
You have to have some checks and
in the
balances
same way, the notion, and I say this with great regret and respect, I could never fully. When Michael Manley said we're going to have free education, yes, that you couldn't put a full stop after it as nice as it was because somebody had to pay for it.
Yeah, man. Correct.
And therefore you
And those who stop it suffer the consequence.
and they should not have started. They should have.
We need a middle ground.
We need a middle ground where there is responsibility, and there can, but there will only be
the middle ground is that there's student loan.
up to a point.
Student loan.
No, to a point. But
And then now remove this.
But at the secondary level and at the primary level, it was, of course, there's no student loan. The middle ground, the consensus which enshrines both opportunity and responsibility. Yes?
Those two words are very nice sounding words.
Yes. And let me give you two more. Engagement and productivity. Yes? Require a measure of political cooperation rather than political competition.
Competition,
Yes? And the sadness of yesterday at the KSAMC, Mr. Charles, Mr. Hyman, was that while inside,
terrible,
they were saying, yes, we wish to work together because we are equal in numbers.
You know what somebody said? That you and I were inside. And I would like to tell you who they said was outside.
Well, hear me now. The fact of what did the local government election results tell us if we really wanted to learn the basic level? That the first two lessons. One, that most of the people don't care a damn about political involvement. And two, those who do, yes, place us on an equal footing. And therefore, why the hell don't we cooperate instead of compete?
Rani, you know what you have just said? That this country is being run by a minority government for years.
Of course.
A minority of people who create the government with a PNP.
So when we look at this budget now, coming back to that, yes, there's no new taxes. That's wonderful, but frankly, there need be no new taxes because of the level of taxes that already exist and the greater efficiency in collecting them. That's
precisely,
the situation.
and here what is happening now, Ronnie. So although there's no new tax category, we are collecting. The government plans to collect 137 billion more from the existing taxes.
So you are giving the government some credit for being able to collect what other governments fail to do. Ronnie,
it's still hello, sir. It's still tax, you know.
Eh?
It's still tax. It's still coming out of your pocket.
I know there's a problem now.
But it's good tax when you're able to collect, but it's bad tax when you don't collect.
You start laughing.
Yes. But here's the problem now. If you were transferring those taxes to improve productivity, like spending more on education, healthcare, and those things, that would be good.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is transferring it to pay salaries as well as to pay the debt faster than you need to pay the debt.
Yeah, you have just touched one good point there that I want to find out if you have any other others. Education means that we'll be training more people, right?
Yeah.
To go out to earn more. What are the other things?
Some of the schools off the shift system and all of those things.
The shift system not preventing you from learning.
It is, you know.
Of course.
And the fact that you'll be dealing with things like literacy, like numeracy. We wouldn't have to wait a decade for the STEM academies. We would have them now. Or very soon. But the other element as to the hospitals, my goodness. But as to the other thing that concerns me, Ralston, is that the government has provided all of this money for its own machinery, okay? But there is no promise given, there is no guarantee, there is no even stated effort that the apparatus of government is going to be more efficient.
But it's an apparatus of government. What do you mean by that?
Yes, and every ministry is using the money that is available to them in the most efficient possible way.
The minister?
The minister presides over it. He doesn't control the checkbook, as we know, but he presides over it and must have responsibility
they walk
for it.
into the office and tell him this is what we're going to do.
And he has to take it. Why?
He can't do otherwise.
He can damn well do otherwise. He can inquire into it and he can stop it. The retired Speaker of the House of Representatives knows that I propose a measure, a resolution for zero budgeting over a period of time. Take 4 ministries every year and question their efficiency.
Yes, rather than add on to last year.
Rather than
Yes.
just add on to last year's headings.
Yeah, man.
And everybody know that the reason you were able to do that was because you were not going back to run.
No.
And
No, I didn't.
and nobody will be searching for you with searching for your checkbook.
No.
And none of the children who don't go to school will be searching for you.
Which of course is not true.
And those, but hold on, let me stop right there, Mr. Before you leave,
we have to break shortly.
I have a problem. Wages have been increased.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But when you go to the supermarket, the money cannot purchase what is there.
Yeah.
No. So increase wages and increase prices.
Yeah.
And I said, we
So
have
here's why.
Huh?
Here's what you have in
You
here.
can hold for a minute, Ralston. We're coming right back
Yeah,
to
man.
you.
Okay.
Thanks for being with us on the Public Eye. This is a Bridge 99, concluding an interview with Ralston Hyman on the 2024-25 budget. Ralston, thanks for your patience.
No problem.
Please explain to our listeners what is the likely impact of the increase in the income tax threshold from 1.5 million to 1.7.
Well, that's not going to have any significant impact. It's going to cost us 8.951 billion, but it'll have no significant impact. And here's why. The reason that they need to increase the threshold again, as they say, is because the purchasing power has been eroded by inflation. Now, if you want people's purchasing power to stabilize and if you want to contain inflation, the best medicine is to improve your productivity levels. And that means that you'll have to be investing more in R&D. You'll have to invest in more in education. Yes, you'll have to invest more in your transportation system so that you have a more efficient transportation. You'll have to invest more in energy. One of the good suggestions that came from the budget presentation yesterday to make Sir P know that we are fair. The minister says that the independent power producers who are selling power to JPS,
Excellent.
the ones who invest more in renewable energy, will reduce their tax burden from 33.33 to 25%.
That's great.
We believe that's a step in the right direction. So we're being fair.
No, I agree with that. We want more investment in alternate energy so we can get away from the stranglehold of the petroleum producers.
Correct, sir.
Yes, and
but
that's
rather,
very important.
I want to
that
ask,
made sense. Yeah.
I want to ask him,
There's another one.
who is getting that money? John now gets an increase in wages, right? He goes to the supermarket. But the increase in wages cannot give him any more than what he was getting with or without with a lower wage. Who is that middleman that is getting rich?
The rent-seeking capitalist who owns the supermarket, and then the government gets its cut in terms of the GCT. So when John goes to the supermarket and he used to buy something for 600 and it's now up to 700 or 750, the rent-seeking capitalist gets a portion and the government gets a portion of that, 15% of the increase.
Yeah, but where does it start? Because the farmers don't get any extra money.
No,
to what come in.
It goes to the rent-seeking capitalist.
It's right inside.
Hello. And this is not a condemnation of them, but the people at the apex of the economy in Jamaica are doing very, very well. You know,
very well. That's why they love what is happening.
They're doing as well as their counterparts in a developed country can do.
And they're going to do even better now, Ronnie, because the minister says that the World Trade Organization has given him instructions to remove the GCT and raw food import. So the food import bill, which is now 1.6 billion, is going to soar.
Of course, I think that, but of course, it has the other side where the local produce
significantly damaged. Local agriculture will be damaged.
Well, he says it not. He thinks that that's going to mean that we'll get cheaper vegetables.
No.
But
why do you say no, Ralston?
Because we're going to be flooded with imported goods and services, raw food, by the same people who are doing the importing. And those things will come in cheaper. And that is why he's saying cheaper, because the local people will be wiped out because they don't have the kind of cheap financing that the external people have. They don't have the kind of scale that the external people have. They don't have the technology that the external people have. They don't have the road network that the external people have.
But if you did that in respect of the poultry industry in Jamaica, you realize what would happen?
Precisely. We did that with the dairy industry, and it wiped out the dairy industry.
It wiped out the dairy industry. I presume it must be that there is an exemption in respect of poultry, because that would wipe out Jamaica broilers and Caribbean broilers without more.
Precisely.
Because no, but I say America have enough chicken back and neck
to sell cheaper.
They would love us to take out of the storehouse.
And we have some prominent politicians, the names of whom I know, who are earning double a joint from importing chicken necks and backs, because they instead of encouraging greater production locally, there is this exemption which is supposed to help the poor, but really is helping some other people much more than it is helping the poor.
Let me ask you a question.
$200 policy.
Why do you?
Policy is going to reinforce it.
Yeah.
You say you know some politicians.
Yeah.
No, so it's politician alone bringing in chicken.
No, but they who are the servants of the people should be the least ones.
You mean active politicians?
Yes, sir, active. I remember you during your tenure in Gordon House. I asked a question. Please give me an inventory of all of those who get license for chicken backs. And after several months and a great deal of prodding, I eventually got it, and I researched the companies whose names are to hide the individuals.
And both sides have it.
And it indeed, but much more on one than the other. And in fact, one of the
you see why I'm able to sit beside him? Yes, but a little more.
Not a little. One of the sitting members of Parliament in my last sitting in Gordon House came to me, yes, and he thanked me because I did not expose the names, of which his would have been one.
Yes. At least one.
At least one.
And he was still there.
He's still there.
And they still control the raw food business running. Yeah. Potatoes, onions, all of those things. Same thing.
But running, so it's fair. Mm-hmm. It goes beyond one person, you know.
Of course it does.
People who genuinely get a license, they care to give it to him. Or to her?
No.
They sell it.
Look, we know how that goes, Pernell. The concern I have is: are we serious about local production? Are we serious about food security? Are we serious about school feeding? And if you're not serious about school feeding, you're not serious about anti-gang strategy. You could have built 2 more prison unless you feed the picnic and get them in school and teach them right. Yes, and food has a lot to do with behavior. Okay? A lot to do with behavior. You are never going to solve the gangs. So, in fact, by the system that we have, whether it's both sides, street sides or no sides, the system right now is, in fact, contributing to the gang culture, even as we think we are.
I tell you something. If I were outside listening to you, I would vote for you. You sound so sweet, so nice.
No, it's true.
Well, let me tell you something. You look like where you were walking, right? It was pure gold.
No.
There was no Brock Rockstone. There was no Brock Battle.
On the contrary.
And no barefoot.
On the contrary, there was so much of that. And the sadness is that I could do so little about it. Yes?
Yeah.
And why do you think others can do any much more than you could? You were you had all the qualities that make you were able
with
to
respect
about
with respect.
MP.
No, others may not be able to, but together we could.
Yeah, man. Learn from the previous.
Together. How do you get them together?
By sitting down like you and I do, and trying whatever our past, whatever our aspirations, to be just honest people in search of solutions for the weakest and the neediest and the most aspiring of our people.
They leave out one.
What?
Having somebody like Ralston
yes.
to guide us.
Sure.
And to
absolutely.
Tell us. And I want to know. He said good things about the Minister of Finance. You don't try to, you don't. Can you tell me some of the things to tell him since you're afraid to tell him?
Afraid what? Ralston, you're never afraid to tell him. You're never afraid of him.
You and I speak by telephone.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
He and him speak.
They speak?
Yeah.
Oh.
But the minister who
No, the minister is doing better than other ministers.
hello, sir. The minister is caught in a system that prevents him from
Yeah,
doing
man.
that, and he's in a mental state, where he seems not to be easily persuaded of another route towards
Yeah.
the objective that he
Precisely.
You know, somebody-
Because while he started his presentation humbly by saying that we have listened, we have learned, we have heard you, he's still going in the same direction.
Because you can't turn back one time. You have to take a time come back. You can't just turn around
What a lot
and
of-
walk on the same road.
What a lot of
because there are
people-
too many people on the sides asking you where you're going.
What a lot of people will die in the meanwhile. What a lot
Precisely.
of
That's the
children
problem.
will leave school in June this year unable to read and write.
That's
and
the
therefore-
problem.
And who you blaming for that?
No, I'm saying
You
I'm
were
not-
Minister of
No.
Education.
Look here.
And you couldn't do a thing
no,
about it.
I did, but not sufficient. And I am saying that we can do better. Not me alone, not him alone, not you alone, but all of us together.
Together.
And if we are really serious about the value of Jamaica and the humanity of all of our people and our resolve not to deteriorate into social factions like is what is at base happening in Haiti. Yes?
And that is happening in Jamaica too.
Well,
we are close.
get
we
the
are
fathers-
getting closer and closer there.
That's what Pernell is saying, you know.
Get the fathers together, man.
Yeah.
Get the fathers together. Get something that make fathers have to be
That's one thing.
responsible
That's
to
one thing.
children,
Yes.
rather than going to the
also
bar
get
and to the
fathers
gambling
to be skilled
house.
up, Sir P, and get them to improve their earning capacity. So all of that is
Yes.
a problem too. Yes, a whole lot of things that we need to do.
Ralston,
Because
I'm
a lot of
going
them run record, them can't find the money for deal with the pick of them.
to call you because I need to learn some more.
Ralston, thanks so much. You're here. Always grateful
All right,
for
no
the analysis.
problem.
Take care.
Always a pleasure. gentlemen.
Thank you very much for your
Ralston,
All right, Sir P.
Ralston Hyman,
Blessings.
conceptualizer, presenter, producer of Real Business on Power 106, financial analyst and economist, giving us a perspective on the 2024-25
Maybe we should-
budget.
maybe-
In a little while, we'll get Dr. Leakim Samaj. She's got this new book, which is particularly relevant to people in the age bracket of the Honorable Pernell Charles and Ronald Thwaites.
And maybe you'll have to tell them that Mr. Trump has just gotten off
Of
some
some-
6 of his
Well,
charges.
yes, apparently he has he has 93 federal charges. So the fact that 6 are not going to trial is significant for me worrying, but we want justice to be done. So, and fairly. So we in our desire to in whatever desire we have, that is the primordial thing.
Justice.
There you are. So, what did you think of Ralston's analysis?
No, you know, I have told you off the air.
Yeah.
Ralston has now got me a candidate
Yeah.
to sit and listen when he is lecturing.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering, he couldn't be reading so fast.
No,
It's coming out of his head
Yes.
into his mouth rather than his eyes.
There you are. and we welcome Leakim Samaj. Greetings, Leakim.
My brothers.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us. The Honourable Sir Pernell is beaming at your appearance on our program. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Colonel and myself go way back, you know.
Well, let me ask you a question because somebody said that I'm lying. What time did you spend at the City College of the City University of New York?
1969 September to 1964. It took me 5 years to finish the first degree.
And
Because I worked.
did you see me on the wall that I attended from 1961
Are you
to
up on the wall?
1965? That I was president of the Student Association and that I was privileged to sit at the feet of some of the good professors.
It was brought to my attention, sir. It was brought to my attention.
Thank you, Leakim.
Leakim Samaj.
It's a privilege to say that I went to the school where you went.
Thank you. Listen to that. Leakim Samaj, I'm looking at you as you appear on our screen. And the appellation is that you are what kind of coach?
The BYC.
What is, okay,
The
BYC.
best is yet to come. My job is to bring out the best whether it's a company or an individual, but
Yes.
the best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come, and
Yeah.
you have two very expectant potential clients here, because both of us are getting up in age, and we would like to believe that you can give us some pointers, and that in fact you have written a book about how, even at our advanced stage, some of the best is yet to come.
Absolutely. It's never too late. That's the incredible thing about it. Yes.
Tell us about your
Okay.
why you have chosen this subject and what you're saying.
You know, when over the years I've done a lot of work for a lot of companies, and just when people were ready to go on retirement, oftentimes I'll be asked to do a little session for them. And the most common question I get asked, how come nobody told us these things long time ago? So that is what motivated me to do the first book, The Best Is Yet to Come.
Yes,
where I
remember
map it
that.
out completely. And I have a workbook. One lady 2 weeks ago told me that she bought the book, and after reading the book, she was supposed to retire this year, but she's asked the company to push it back at least a year or two because she's not ready.
Oh,
She's absolutely not ready to take on that task of that other section of her life, which is going to be even longer than
her working life.
her working life, quite likely. Now, the second book, which is just came out on Amazon now, Body Works. You know, it starts with a question and ends with a very important answer. If you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live?
What are you
It
gonna
all life takes place in a body.
Yes.
And what do? There's a thing called muscle mass that we start losing by about, say, age 30, 40, about 1 or 2% a year as such. And nothing is actively spoken about how do we replace this. And it is what brings us down to the weakest issue as you age. Did you know, gentlemen, that the number one ultimate cause of death for people 65 and over results from falling?
From falling.
You don't just fall and drop dead, but if at 65 you
Yeah.
fall,
Yeah.
there's a good chance you're going to break a hip or a femur. It's going to take 3 to 6 months of incapacitation in order to recover.
Yeah.
But guess what? During that time, the rest of your organs are likely to start failing. And 50% of people who have a fall within the year are dead.
Whoa. These are I imagine international statistics.
International, documented time and time and time
But
again.
they would apply to people here as much as anywhere else.
Even more so here. And if you notice, so between those two things, how do we get the notion is that, Ronnie, we want to live long and die quickly.
Okay.
A long, productive life, and at the end, you have a glass of wine, go to sleep, and that's it.
Well,
Now, what happens is that for most people, because so little attention has been paid to the single most important longevity drug is a drug called exercise. And we also, more importantly, it includes muscle building activities because the body loses muscle mass. Once you reach about age 30, 40, you start losing muscle mass. It is muscle that supports the entire body. One research was the first time we started putting men in space. When a man goes into space, or a woman, and they're up there and orbiting for 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so, or what have you, when they come back, you realize that most of them can't even walk
it seize up.
because the muscle has not been, they've not used their muscles.
I see.
And that's why so many people do not use their muscles. So the result, it's an important component.
Yes.
Now, what we in the book is a short book because we want you to be able to read it in one sitting and then do exactly what you need to do. We end with a question. Have you heard of something called the centenarian decathlon?
The centenarian decathlon. Now, a centenarian refers to a person who is 100 years old. And,
Right.
and a decathlon is a very complex athletic activity.
Series of activities.
But then
All right?
how people at 100 years old can even keep a decathlon in mind.
Let's use the same premise, because that's why when I talk about in the first book, I introduced the concept, the anchor leg of life. Now, you just, the decathlon, you tell yourself, what is my decade of decline? What do I want? What am I living? What will be the decade where I start declining? Will that be 80? Will that be 90? Will that be 100? Whatever it is, you decide. It sounds a little far-fetched, huh? But you decide.
Okay.
Okay.
So if I decide, where does that take me? What has to
Okay,
happen?
the next step now, you pick your decathlon now. What are the 10 activities you would like to be able to engage in during that last decade of your life? And you list them out, the practical, what are the things that you want? No, a lot of people, the way we start talking, we expect to be totally popped down. We expect that we can't walk. We expect that we can't do this. No. The amount of people, so you decide what are the things that you want to do. One of the things that I want to travel the world, and I want to, there's not many people can travel the world in a wheelchair.
You're right.
When I travel a lot, the airports are getting bigger. Just to walk through the airport. The other day, I was on a flight that was delayed for like 5 hours. There were persons who were in wheelchairs, and they were sitting there in that wheelchair for the 5 hours.
Oh, Lord. They
couldn't get to the bath. They had to beg somebody to push them to the bathroom because they could not get to the bathroom. So you understand some things we take for granted.
So exercise is the answer? And does your book indicate the various iterations of the decathlon?
No, first of all, it allows you to pick your activities.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're traveling, you got to be able to put your luggage on the overhead, huh?
Yeah, so you have to lift something.
You have to be able to lift 30 pounds.
Yes.
If you have to go to the supermarket to get your groceries,
yes,
you have to be able to carry at least 20 pounds in your hand.
Right.
So we're talking about, can you bathe yourself?
Yeah.
Can you cook?
Yeah.
Can you sweep out the house? You understand the practical things by
these are very
so
practical.
many people.
But I'm
kind of tell us some age, because when a person asks me, Mr. P, how old are you?
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, 88. I said, but are you playing tennis? I said, I've been playing tennis for the past 40 years.
Yeah.
I haven't missed a week.
Yes.
So I said, I said, but you're retired. I said, you know what? Retirement has made me tired.
Yeah. So, but
it is retirement that makes me get tired.
But I think what you're saying about yourself is consistent with what Leakim is putting forward, isn't it, Leakim?
Exactly. Because how many people did what Purnell did? Because guess what? That's part of his investment. He started investing 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And as a result, the level of fitness that he has, the average 70-year-old, even 60-year-old don't have a fraction of that.
That's clear. That's clear.
Okay.
So
those are the issues. It's around those kinds of issues that the process now, you don't have to pop down. You don't have to be incapacitated.
Yeah. You
don't have to be totally dependent on the people.
Okay.
You can create a life.
Leakim, hold 1 minute for me. We need to take the time signal, but I'm anxious for you to answer this question. What is the relationship between body works and mental condition? That's critical.
Perfect.
When we come back on the Public Eye, this is the Bridge 99 FM. Talking vital health stuff with Dr. Leakim Samaj, BYI consultant. Be the best you can. Dr. Samaj, isn't it true? What happens to your mind if you do take care of your body or your body works, or if you don't?
But it's incredible that once a physical, again, Mustard, if you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live? Physical activity and exercise and fitness it is not just stimulating the physical body, but mentally and socially. So, for example, if you're feeling weak, it's hard for you to even move. You can't go there. You can't go where you want to go. You can't do what you want to go. Your mobility is impacted. Then issues like depression.
Yes, very important.
Started, lack of interest. You're not interested in this. You don't want to do that. Then the decline is now multiplied because it is so hard to do anything. It gets harder and harder. So you end up doing less and less. So your level of stimulation decreases. And before you know it, the degeneration is now multiplied. Look, you don't want to go visit friends because, God, just to walk to the car, just to walk to the bus takes so much out of you. So that if you're not physically able, all the other things now tie into it.
Mm-hmm. So there are many people listening to us who are saying, boy, I really see the sense in all of this, but I'm just too far gone. I'm too old, or my belly is too big, or I may not keep to the routine. I give up.
You realize that once you give up, guess what? The dog dead. Now, I usually start by saying that before you engage in the physical activity that you have not been doing, talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor at least to get some advice and so on, and think to make sure you get a proper checkup and so on. So do that, whether formally or informally. But the data, the evidence indicate that you are able to do this at any time. You can do it. You can start at any time
with profit. I mean,
it's not that hard.
Okay,
there's one point that you have left out, doctor. You miss it.
You miss it?
In other words, you used to do something.
Yes.
Yes.
And you go stop.
Uh-huh.
And you just miss it. In other words, if I miss 2 days down on the court, I mean, I'm terrified.
You feel it.
But Pernell,
I have to be out there.
That's the other side of it. You and I, Pernell, because we're so physically active, absolutely no. The necessity is the activity. I can't miss 2 days.
No, I can't.
So once you get started, it perpetuates itself. It pulls at you, but it's to get started. Ideally, can you get a companion? Can you get a partner who will accountability partner? Okay, call me in the morning, man. We go walk around the block together. We go start doing something together. So,
doctor, let me give you one that my daughter, who is a doctor, just said to me. I have started. In other words, I have to train 4 hours at home.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "What I'm doing? I'm learning Spanish."
Good.
Perfect.
On my
the mind now is
on my cell phone.
Yeah.
I found a place that teaches Spanish.
Yeah. Excellent.
And every day, 10 and 15 new words. So, yo habla español, señor?
Muy bien.
Muy bien.
Muy agradable. Lekim Semaj, so let's draw people who are listening to us, because many people feel that they miss the sort of gym culture of Gen Z, and they're now in perhaps with a chronic ailment, and it's too much for them. I once remember Professor Errol Morrison saying in a program about diabetics that if you can't walk anywhere but walk around your bed, walk around your bed.
Exactly.
Just keep
start
keep up
where you are with what you have.
Yeah, you don't need any equipment. You don't need to spend $50,000 on sweatsuits and
not at all.
Sneakers and all that.
There's something you need to do, which I'm going to ask Doctor to tell us.
Tell him.
When you retire,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be careful that you don't eat too much.
Okay.
You have to have a discipline.
Yes.
Because if every time you run for a piece of sweet bun, run for this, you get heavy and you get fat. You have to have a discipline how you eat, when you eat, and what
Again,
it contributes.
as you age, again, when the body consumes nutrient in a different way. First of all, it needs less calories, but you still need as much protein. So that's why you need to have guidance as such from your primary care physician on. It is useful to get some guidance from a nutritionist or a sports specialist, somebody who can give you primary information, what you need. But you can't eat the same way of when you was going to work on all kind of activities, because all that calories has to be burned. If it is not burnt, once it passes your lips, it goes to your waist.
So body works then is a physical work as well as a mental work. Am I combining?
Absolutely, but you see, it starts with the physical, because if you don't take care of your body, the mind is going to deteriorate. All is going to deteriorate.
Okay, all right.
And many times people just talk about cardiovascular, but muscle building is absolutely essential.
Okay,
because you lose again. You can't afford to get sick. As you age, anything that keeps you immobile for 2 weeks set you back 6 months to a year in terms of your physical development.
Yes.
The body must keep moving. The body must keep moving.
Got you. And I think that involves some lifestyle changes that are very important. I really want to commend the National Housing Trust for Emancipation Park, because so many people use that as a point of recreation and of mental regeneration. Many people do it on the streets. But one of the things that I regret as a retired political representative is that I never fostered more parks in the area. Having a place for recreation, for exercise, for body works is important as an infrastructural construct, Leakim Semaj.
I'm concerned about the amount of green space which has been wiped out.
That's what I mean.
Putting up more and more apartments and no green space, because it is utterly critical.
Yes, that Malecon that they built at Kingston Harbour, from Raytown coming right across.
That was one of Mr. Siaga's big stories.
It's very important
that he wants green space.
Yes.
And Tivoli has
if you look at Nationals, Heroes Park now, it's a disgrace. Yes, really a disgrace. That should be another Emancipation Park. And there are places like that in every town and capital all over Jamaica.
It's a parking lot now.
It is in a graveyard. What a thing. Leakim Semaj, tell us about your book. How can we get it? And what kind of is it practical, or it's just hortatory encouraging?
No. That's what I'm saying. It's utterly practical. Yeah. That's why I would make sure you can read this in one sitting, and the idea, it gives you practical information. Let's say you are a total beginner. Yeah. Here is where you start. Let's say you used to be active in sports and so on. Here's where and the kinds of things that you need to do, but it must involve some resistance training. Cardiovascular alone is not going to do it, because just as Ronnie, your visual acuity shifts as you age. So what you use glasses to correct it, don't we?
Sure.
Your muscle mass shifts with age. So if you're not doing something to balance back the muscle mass, as you age, you lose muscle, but muscle is what holds the entire body together.
When you speak of resistance work, though, what are you talking about? Lifting weights?
Weights, resistant bands, they're bands that can stretch. Something that you have to do more than what just your own movement can. Okay. But your body weight exercise, push-ups, sit-ups.
Yes.
Wall sits. Just lowering your body against the wall and holding yourself there for but the muscles must get some work beyond what they normally do. Oh, by the way, I have a new activity which I built into my own thing now. Every time I hear some associate of mine has died, I drop to the ground and I do 10 push-ups.
Oh my goodness.
In honor of the strength I got from that person while they're alive. Last night, at 10 o'clock, somebody told me about Dr. What's his name? Charlie Roberts.
Yes.
So I had to do my 10 last night. I mean, there have been days where I had to do 30. Because that is why.
Charlie, doctor.
So that is the kind of thing that
but that's
I
a
make
discipline.
a game of it, so that you can use your body weight. But it's important for you to, if we're not building muscles, you're losing muscle.
Yes.
And the default is that you lose it. So you realize again, once something happens and you have to be in the hospital for 3 weeks.
Yes. Got you.
You're in trouble.
How can we get the book, sir?
Well, they're both available on Amazon.
Uh-huh.
The first book is also available at Brian's bookstore in the Springs and in Montego Bay.
Great.
By the end of the month, I'll have the second book also available, most likely at Brian's bookstore,
yes.
so on. But they're both available on Amazon.
Amazon is really the go-to place for
Absolutely.
so many
It's
of
so
those.
easy.
So
and it's
easy.
available both in paperback and in Kindle.
Ah, excellent.
You know, the Kindle, I mean,
Kindle
and
is
I
a new
purposely did this the second book. The Kindle is $2.99.
Yes.
And the paperback is $9.99.
Yes.
So, you know, the idea is
modest price. And the Kindle
exactly.
The Kindle is so convenient for more and
Kindle,
more people.
You go online now and you within a minute it's on your phone.
Make arrangements.
But that's US dollars, right?
That's real money, yes, sir.
Yeah, US.
Real money. Like Kim Savage, your career takes an interesting turn. I mean, we never know what to expect from you, but except that I do think after the first book, the second book was bound to happen. Keep going.
And guess what?
Yes.
The third book is the third book is now.
Yes.
The third book on the same theme is on grey divorce.
On grey divorce?
Yes.
What is that?
The fastest growing area in divorce are people 65 and over ending their marriages.
Wow. That's scary.
70% of the persons who file are women.
Oh. So what give us a percent. What is the content of the book?
No, you see, look here,
Are
Ronnie,
you in favor or against?
You were surprised how many people, probably even associates of yours, some modified relationship going because look, they have gone tired of each other. They have not done anything to sustain their relationship over the years. The children are gone now. There's nothing keeping them together. But guess what? When you visit, they pretend that they're together. But when you leave, he goes to one room, she goes to another.
Oh, what a
they
terrible
have
thing.
separate lives.
Yeah.
Others go as far as divorcing and moving on with their life because, look, she said, look, I'm 65.
Yeah.
I have at least 15 good more years and I'm not spending it with you. The last 30 years, I mean, I really try with you and I can't take it anymore. So that grey divorce, either directly or indirectly or a hybrid, all kinds of things, because it gets complicated now with the pension money and the savings and the house and all of that. But I've been researching. It's an incredible thing going on. The games that people are now playing. Yeah. Because they don't plan to live another 20 years with each other.
So what's the direction? I don't want you to tell me the content, but what's the direction of your thinking, your writing, that ways in which we can avoid that? If I call it a tragedy, I don't think I'm overstating.
Exactly. How do we prevent it?
Prevent it.
Because just like how your body decline if you don't actively nurture and support it, marriages are declining in the same way.
Yeah.
And as opposed to just stick it out for life, persons are decided. And I know of a couple who she's 74 2 months ago, and I mean that's when the divorce came through, and she's going on with her life.
Yeah.
Her daughter bought her an apartment so she could move out.
Yeah.
In fact, another situation, this one daughter who is a doctor bought the house.
Yeah.
Because she bought the house and gave it to her mother.
Yeah.
So that the mother had a place to live now. But it's getting complicated. But all around that whole thing, that last anchor leg of life, I hope people are managing it.
What a mind you have. Thanks so much for your care. We're happy to hear it, and I hope that people will patronize and buy the book. I certainly will. And that we understand that so much hangs on how body works.
Absolutely.
All the best.
My pleasure.
Dr. Eliakim Samaj, ideator, author, psychologist, many, many things. That was interesting, sir.
Very, very interesting. And it stimulates your mind to think not only of yourself, but of family and friends.
Yes.
some who have just stayed there, didn't do anything, and can't do anything about it now.
Well,
Because, in other words, you must have reached a stage where you can't survive it, you can't revive it.
yes,
It has flattened out.
yes,
So you have to go into a new direction. When I said to Gloria the other day that, boy, I am in the Spanish thing now, you know. You know, one of my daughters speaks Spanish, so I say,
Yo te amo.
habla español. ¿Qué pasa? I said, so what is this now? Habla español. I say, estudia.
Let me help you. Yo te amo. I love you. You have to tell her that. Yo te amo.
She said, I passed that.
No, never. Never. I understand.
But anyhow,
refreshing and,
yes,
and
it-
helpful information.
I've learned a lot.
The
And
kind of thing.
I know there are many of our friends out there
Yes.
who retire
Yes.
and just find a chair,
Yes.
an armchair,
Yes.
to get up out the bed, into the chair,
Yes.
and go back to bed.
Yes.
And that's just bad.
Yes.
That's what he said. Even if you walk on the yard and do some flowers and,
Sure.
you know.
Yes, but let us bring it back even closer home. The perils of political life
Yeah.
very often prevent you from body works.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
You are unusual in that
Yeah.
you have kept your exercise routine
Yes.
for social purposes and also for
It
physical
became a
regeneration.
part of me. So
Yes.
Glory
But-
wake me up every morning at 5 o'clock and
Well, you
give
see,
me
the-
2 eggs,
Uh-huh.
a bowl of porridge,
Yeah.
some fruits,
Yeah.
and said, don't leave the house until you finish it.
Finish
I'm a
it.
little boy there, you know.
Well, you see this, but that's good to your advantage. But there are many of us who have been in public life
Yes.
who never took care of ourselves.
That's right, yeah.
And when we retire, all kinds of mental and physical degeneration takes
I
place.
had to say to Ed Bartlett, 1980 we were in Jamaica House.
Uh-huh.
And the first Christmas,
Uh-huh.
this man walked in to give me a Christmas gift.
Uh-huh.
What do you think it was?
What?
A tennis racket
Uh-huh.
and a tin of balls.
Really?
So I don't play him. Said, get out of it.
Yeah.
1980.
It was Ed who gave
And
it
I
to you?
have never missed a week.
Well, that's good. That's really good. And he
I said it to him. I don't think he does.
well,
But
but
he
that's,
helped
no,
me.
but that's very good. That's very good. I have one other matter before time runs out on us to to bring to public attention. Have you been taken up for the census?
No, not yet.
No, nor have
They
I.
haven't gotten to me yet.
Nor have I. And I've done a quick survey in the places that I frequent and work, and only a minority of the people who
But
are
have they
asked-
gone to your home?
No, they haven't, as far as I know. No, the,
Because I've gone to many homes where 1 or 2 people were present.
yes. Well, the recently I heard the finance minister, Dr. Clark, speak about the census, the field work being virtually complete. He's wrong. It is not complete.
But she said virtually means it not
Virtually,
complete.
yes, but I think
Virtually means it's closer to complete.
closer to completion. It's not. And it raises an issue that I'm not being critical. I want to be encouraging. And I want to find out, and we can do that, how it is if nobody has come to you, if none of the census workers have come to you. How do you get back in touch with them? I want to be counted.
But
Yes?
let me ask you, if somebody come to my house
Uh-huh.
and my wife is there alone
Yeah,
and the census persons come,
yeah,
they're going to ask how many people live
yeah.
here.
But they can't take up your
No,
census
no,
and
but
you're
they're
not
going to
there.
ask that.
Yes.
I don't know what recording they have done when they go to these homes
Uh-huh. But
because they would have to go to some homes 3, 4, 5 times
and if that's what it takes in order to get
to get a good
the level of information. Remember, it's not just that you exist.
yeah.
It is a lot of personal data about you that is going to inform government policy. I speak of it with particular emphasis because in education right now, we have a mismatch between spaces and students. Yes, it's
What happened?
it's
More
not
space
usual.
than children?
Yes, but
More space than
yes,
children?
but the problem is that that demographically it isn't aligned.
Is that the children are absent
Children are absent, or you have plenty of children in some places
and none in some?
and less
A
in
little in
some.
some.
Yes, and you need policy. We're talking about the efficiency of the budget earlier on with Ralston Hyman. We're talking about some of the important personal activities and societal activities that make for human flourishing with Leakim. And an accurate census is indispensable.
Go back to education, Ronnie. There was a time when it was, I don't want to say floated, it was out here to say that if you are in this section, you go to this school.
Uh-huh.
You are in this section, this goes. But that has been dashed away from
You want to have
John Brown move his children from Duane Park.
You want to
to
have a
Campion,
revolution in this, a rebellion in this country?
Schools.
Yeah, it won't work. Because
How you would ever get people to go back to send schools in? You'd have to get the
community
standard of
schools.
school up to a
Of course, sir, that is what we're not being careful enough about. But if our the baseline, the floor of all of that we're going to build is an accurate census, so that we are sure how many people we have in what age groups, with what needs, or young, old, etc. What all of their various social connections.
But why don't we solve this? There must be somebody in charge of census. Which ministry is that?
It's Ministry of Public Service, as far as I know.
Public service.
Yes.
Well, let us spend a week to find somebody to come here
Indeed.
next week to give us
Very well. I undertake to try that. The
Yes.
important thing is the Statistical Institute, I'm sure, has a very important role. We have to have that knowledge of ourselves if we want to plan efficiently and if we want to spend purposefully. Yes.
Well, Benny, that is it's almost something that.
No, I hear the minister, the Minister, Mr. Charles Jr., and again the finance minister speaking about the increased allocation for PATH.
Yes.
A census is critical to that, isn't it?
Yeah, because you have to know how many children need
it, and who are getting it, who really don't need it anymore, if they ever did.
Yeah.
And all of the demographic information that is connected. If you are going to have, as Minister said yesterday, a situation where you have where the national identification is so up to date that you don't need a guarantor to lead you to a delinquent borrower at a tertiary who's got a tertiary grant, then your baseline data is critical. Many people feel that giving census or submitting to the NIDS process is an invasion of their privacy. You've heard that. It has even gone into court. I do not accept that. If I live in a society, I am obliged to so present myself that I can be both assisted and be of assistance in that society.
But if you're going to make a budget for the country, you have to know what age group.
Clearly, sir.
Yeah,
Clearly. Therefore, I felt
you're talking about pension.
Sure. I knew we
talking
could agree
about
on this.
Young people, a different type of education.
Yeah.
You talk about basics.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you have to have an idea.
So it's really critical for us not to gloss over what has been a difficult census process. It's been going on for months, if not more than a year.
It's quite a long time.
A long time now, and it's not complete. I had no knowledge of your situation. I wanted to tell you about mine, and I have been methodically asking people with whom I come in contact, random, have you census take you up? And the answer is very often no. So it's not complete. It raises big questions as to why it's not complete. You know, there's some amount of resistance, whether on religious grounds.
Some people are going to give information.
Well, yeah, and some people are frightened. They think it's taxes they're going to have to pay, all kind of things. But we want to say clearly that this is important and that people should not be afraid of cooperating with the census takers.
Let me ask you a question. If you were
Very
minister
quickly.
of that,
Yeah.
would you be saying to the census takers,
Uh-huh.
you go to house 1 at Ralston Park,
Yeah.
the first question you ask, how many people live here?
Yeah.
who are the persons?
Yes.
And you would have a box
Yes.
for that address.
Yes.
And that there are 10 people,
Yes.
but we only saw 4 or
So
5.
we have to go back and find them, or they have to come to us.
Or
In my view, I'm going to be
Could
rash
be
on this
dangerous,
as a
huh?
last movement. Yes, a census, participating in the census should be mandatory.
not only mandatory, it helps you to fix a budget.
Clearly.
Because
Remember what I said?
how you know how much you want to send to
You don't
a
know.
certain
You can,
age group.
absolutely, it's part of making
How
the
you know
whole
many
process.
people going to want pension money?
Absolutely, sir.
You're increasing pension.
I think you're adding to the whole thing. The Honorable Pernell Charles, the redoubtable co-host on the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. We cover all kinds of things when we join you. We are conversationalists in the public sphere and reflecting on our experience and our deep, deep aspirations and commitment for our country. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Until
sir.
the next week, if life is spared and the Lord tarries, we will be back, and we crave your continued company. Thank you, Jeff. See you next time.